Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to Psychology Every Day. Today it's Sunday, which means Sports Psychology Sunday, and I am sick and my eyes are all bloodshot. Uh, so, you know, this would be a shorter video and maybe a bad video, but it is what it is. I made this in preparation of today, and basically, well, if we just read off the screen, it says what you think your limits are, and looking at here's you, and then we have these sort of unexplored borders of your capacity. And I tried to draw, at least tried to draw the same thing over here, because what you need to do is actually find what you can't do in order to find out what you can do, because your sort of perception or ideas of your capacities and limitations are just made up. They are made up by your superego in Freudian terms, sort of what people will have told you and what you have learned based on previous experiences, but also, some people talk about locus of control in on YouTube, and a lot of people actually don't know what they're talking about fully, at least. The thing with locus of control is that it is a part of social cognitive psychology, and it basically means that you learn that you're either helpless or have agency in your life based on if your parents treat you randomly or uh, constructively based on whether you do things well or not. And both of those need to be erased from your mind, because it's just made up stuff that has very little connection to your real potential. And I can tell you this as someone that has tried a lot of different things. I have always loved being sort of, challenging myself, trying to learn new things, trying to excel at things. And, you find it takes a while to find your actual limit, and it is very often surprising. So on this side, with the green circle, this represents your actual limits and your actual potential. And if you look down here, this is actually quite handy. Maybe I'll do more videos like this. This was a limitation that you thought you had, but you actually never even got that far. And then, of course, here's the positive side, right? Where you were able to do so much more than you ever thought you were capable of. For me, I have many examples. Um, I would say that one of these three things was becoming the world's strongest bench presser. Wasn't in my actual sort of limit, at least not in this lifetime, with my, with my life. This one is how good I thought I would be at chess, and I would get stuck way before that. But here, in sort of, let's say, academic endeavors, and let's say getting good at difficult physical things, craftsmanship, becoming good at different kinds of work, and certainly my capacity and skill in social contexts. Turns out I'm just way better than I thought I could ever be. And I haven't found that limit yet. So, but basically, what you need to do is this deductive method. And deductive method basically means that you make a theory and then you keep testing that theory until it breaks. I talked about this, I think, last Sunday, but I'm going to repeat it because it's super important. And it's something that I combat in other contexts, which is funny. But in this context, it is absolutely amazing. So let's say you want to be, or whatever direction or desire you might have, you must make the theory that you could be the greatest of all time if you're committed to it. If you just want to learn to play the guitar and learn a few songs, that's fine. But if you're like, I'm gonna put all of my focus and energy towards this thing because it is what I love to do most and I really want to get good at it. The theory then that you put up, you know, in the deductive method, the system, is that I will be, or I am, the greatest guitar player of all time. That is where my final destination will be in, my lifetime. And then you live out your life testing that method, and you have to try to break it. You have to find this limit in order to break it, because if you don't, you're not able to make a conclusion. If you want to test the theory that I will win a national championship in wrestling, then you will never get the answer if you don't aim to do it. It's just talking in circles. It's fine. I have a horrible cold. And you want to aim at the very, 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 very top, because otherwise you risk of still not finding your potential if you aim too low. So national championship is actually not enough, because if this really is your sort of biggest desire, let's say wrestling, and you're committed, it will very much change how you live your life and how you approach things when you set a goal that high. Again, using myself in the bench press example. If I had, instead of course, I was younger and I didn't have this method, which would have been amazing to have, honestly. Instead of, saying that I want to be world champion, which is a high goal, it's a good goal, but there are still things that in my mind that I could get away with, since I thought becoming a world champion was a bit too easy, or would be quite easy for me, and that is hubris. That is a huge problem, and I'm going to talk about that in a different video. But you need to aim maximally high. So in bench press, it would be, I want to be the undisputed GOAT, the greatest of all time in bench press forever. And then you have to get every single thing in order, and it will be easy if you actually care that much about it. And for the people watching that have not been sort of in athletic endeavors, it might feel strange, but for some of you watching, it will be absolutely obvious, because most people are actually super duper mega obsessed with their sport. And once you decide that that is the theory that you want to test with this deductive method, you fix everything immediately. Because for me, it was oftentimes my diet that wasn't good enough. Um, and that was the hubris that I thought that, well, if I want to be world champion in the minus 74 class, the diet isn't really that important because my frame will, on 74 kilos, eventually be filled up with muscle. The problem is that if I had, done my diet absolutely perfect for that endeavor that I was going to talk about, I would have ended up in the 93 kilo weight class on the same height with a lot more muscle and better sort of lifting angles, and had more success. So yeah, that is all for today. I'm sorry if this video sucks. I love you so much, everyone that watches. Have a fantastic day. And tomorrow's video is something that I have prepared. I'm going to edit it together in a second, and it's going to be amazing. Tomorrow's video will for sure compensate for this one. All right, bye.